Phanteks is known for a lot of things. Usually it's cases or things like fans that can cut off your finger if you, stick them in there. However, they also are making other things among CPU coolers, AIOs, we have SFF coolers, we have a lot of Phanteks stuff that is not that much spread across the world. One of which is this, the Phanteks Neon Combo Set. It's basically an ARGB extension for your rig, where you can put even more RGB into it, because that's what performance means nowadays, RGB. However, this thing is pretty cool. It's you will see it in a minute, but it's essentially like a good lighting strip with extra little pieces that allow you to route them in a specific way. Additionally, you can route them around motherboards, which might even end up looking very, very nice. We will see about that, we will see about the quality, and we will dive deeper into, do you need more RGB for your rig? The rig that we will be torturing today is this, what had I called it, the Enthoo wing. It has already way too much RGB, but you can always have more RGB. You know how it is nowadays. So let's take a look at this set and see what we have here. So as far as I'm concerned, there are a couple of these sets with more or less of those strips and with more or less of these bendable pieces. This is what a strip looks like. It's basically a piece of rubber that is highly bendable, and then one side has like the RGB thing, the milky stuff to shine through your lights. On both ends we have Phanteks ARGB connections, those DRGB things that nobody likes. However, as mad as I can get about those Phanteks DRGB connections, they do provide you with an adapter. So, for example, we have here the Phanteks Enthoo case, and the Enthoo case has an end behind the case sticking out, which looks essentially like this connector, which is Phanteks RGB proprietary port. And what you can do with this set is basically hook it up to this one, so you will just extend the case's natural ARGB capabilities, which is pretty nice. But at the same time, you can also use this cable and hook it up to one end of your strip, and then hook that up to your normal ARGB 3-pin connection coming from your motherboard. So you are not bound to use this with a Phanteks device, which is pretty freaking nice, or you will basically cripple your audience by 90%, which is not a very good thing. The other thing in the package is this bag of way too much goodies. One of which is this extension cable, which is basically for the case that those strips will not be, directly adjacent to each other, which can be the case, one on the top, one on the bottom, and you will need something to, route the cable from A to B, which is why we have this cable. For length, I would say like 50 centimeters, something along that line, which should be enough for this will work. Then we have this whole mess of little extensions. Now on one end you can use those dual-sided magnetic, I believe? No, not magnetic. Those dual-sided tapes, and then you can glue them to one side of one of many of those pieces, and then glue that to your case or to whatever. And then you can take the lighting strip and then press it in, and voila, it is being kept in place and glued to the chassis. However, additionally, you also have this hole. I hope you can see the hole. And the hole is very, very useful because I believe, if I read the manual ahead of time correctly, which is not repeated on this one, great. If I am informed correctly, those two strips are enough to route once nicely around a motherboard, which is why we have these holes. So you can install this behind the motherboard, basically, putting the motherboard on top of it and then the screw through this thing too, and which will then be like a nice frame around your motherboard. And you have straight ones, which will basically be like, let's say on the straight line going from top to bottom, and then you have the round ones, which you can use to make the turn around the motherboard. So you can make something that looks very, very nice with very little effort or very little skill, let's say, because ignore the gluing part, which you can mess up a lot with. Using the screws, you can do nothing wrong. So we have 4 of each pieces. We have 4 of those 90-degree angles, which are not like 90 degrees straight, right? You have like that bend, otherwise you would just destroy the your lighting strip or whatever. Then we have 4 of those straight long lines, which you can imagine if you put them like behind the motherboard, you will have the glowing piece pointing away from your motherboard, so you will very nicely see it. Then we also have this piece where the angle at which you put the strip in is like bent like 90 degrees compared to the straight one, and this you can also potentially install behind the motherboard, and it will start to glow above the motherboard if you prefer to do it that way. I mean, everything is up to you. So we have 4 of each, and I guess that should be enough. Like, let's say you do a whole motherboard, you cannot do the left side because, you know, there is case. But let's say you would do around the whole motherboard. That way you would need just 2 of those 90-degree bends and maybe 3 or 4 of those straight lines, and you will be fine. You can also do a lot of stuff. I mean, potentially you can do whatever you want. You can glue them like on the inside of a case and let it glow out, which in my opinion doesn't do like the most amount of RGB effect. However, you have a lot of different options. I, however, really want to try the motherboard option where I go around it, because I believe it looks very, very nice, or I hope so at least. So let's just quickly take the system that I have prepared and take away the GPU, and I will very hopefully be able to put this in without removing the whole damn system, because I don't want to remove the whole system, but yeah, let's see. So at this point I already removed the GPU because we will never be able to put those in with the GPUs. The amount of fiddling would be uncanny. So yeah, I guess we are ready at this point. I believe the best option to start here is start at the very top right corner, so basically here. Because there we have the cable hold for the CPU cables, and that is the perfect place to route these cables through. So I believe this is what we are going to do first, just route these through, because otherwise I will never be able to do it later on, because you know. And of course, this would be better to do while installing the motherboard. I'm just doing this like freehand now because the system is already prepared and I don't want to put it away. To put it back together, that just, yeah, doesn't sit right with me. So in the top back corner, we would need to put this. How the hell am I supposed to install it? Yeah, I will never be able to do this. I need to remove the motherboard first. Oh no. I don't want to remove the motherboard. Yeah, this should do it. So, as far as I know, these things should be going where the screw is about to go, somewhat like this. So you are basically putting it on top of that spacer that you have on your case. And that's actually very handy, because that way now, if I remove that too, and I remove the motherboard for a very short moment, I can actually now very neatly just position all of them exactly where I need them to be and just straight up screw the motherboard back in, and then later on I can, you know, reposition them because they, I don't know if you can see it. Let's take a straight one. Can you see this one? It's, you know, wiggles, and it will still wiggle even with the motherboard installed, which is very nice. It will be very easy for me later on to do that. So we were going to do a straight one here in the top left corner, then here a 90-degree angle in the top right corner, followed by a straight one, followed by a 90-degree angle, followed by 2 straight ones. So we basically have like this line around the motherboard. Just out of ease for later on, I will already like put the top left one into the strip and already position it so that I'm sure that everything will fit in nicely. And actually, this does fit way nicer than I initially believed. And while I'm doing this, I'm realizing that it is a lot easier if you like do it right now already, so that you don't have to do the hassle later on. So I'll just continue to do the whole line. So we have the first line now going, and I realized that you will be able to see like where one strip ends and where the other one begins, which is not like the most aesthetic thing. And it kind of annoys me. Okay, so upon a bit more investigational work, I found out that I should have read a bit better what I exactly got myself there. So there are essentially 3 different versions of this neon pack, right? You have the M4s, the M5s, and you have the combo pack. So what I have here is the combo pack, which is essentially just 2 M4s, and you have the M5 as a separate length. The point is that an M5 is 550 millimeters long, which is exactly the length you would need to make like an U-turn on the motherboard, which would be this area, or essentially what I'm trying to do here. And the M4 port is like 400 and something millimeters long, so this will not work, no matter how hard I try it. And if I try to do it, I will always end up with a bit of cable dangling in between, which will not look nice, so I will not do that. But I came up with a very appropriate alternative. What I will do is mount one straight line from here to the very right side of the whole case, essentially where the front fans are facing the sideways mounted fans. And to my very surprise, the space that I left in between here, or that I left, that the space that is created due to how thick the fans are, is exactly the width of those strips. So what I can do is just press them in and they will stay in place because they fit in so perfectly fine. This is like it's supposed to be like that. I don't know how... No, don't go in, don't go in. I will never be able to pull you out. No, 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 no. Come out, come out, come out. Come out, you sucker. Come out. No, no. Okay, this will work perfectly fine. So I will not need like 80% of my pieces. I will just need a straight line, or 2 straight lines, 3 straight lines, sorry, in the very top, and the whole rest of this build will be made by just, you know, pressing them in, because this will be more than sufficient. So at this point I will put the motherboard back in because I don't need it anymore. Yeah, without breaking anything, please. Thank you. You see, I did not even have an episode of PTSD. Amazing. Perfect. In front of the tubes, because they fit in front of the tubes. What the hell? Perfect. Now the second one. Well, if RGB really does increase FPS, I guess I have the best gaming PC in existence right now. So the loop, as I wanted to do it, at the upside of the motherboard and then going down in between both fans does really work. I'm happy about that, but I'm also kind of pissed that I didn't do my homework, because I really wanted to do like the around motherboard thing. But that's okay, I can live with that, and I'm just a bit sad that I didn't got the M5 set. Yeah. Quality-wise, those Phanteks strips work very, very well. I had a bunch of other ones from other companies that are also okay. The issue with the other ones were that the whole thing was white, so you had a white strip where you had one piece, one side of it illuminating in RGB, and the rest was, you know, white in the black build. That was really dumb. But here everything is black except for the one part where RGB comes out, so that's really, really nice. Quality-wise, also very okay. You can bend them heavily, especially when you use like those 90-degree bends. It works flawlessly with those. I really, really like that. The M4 set essentially is meant to cover 3 sides of a 120mm fan, so you could do like a tick, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And for those cases, it would work exceptionally well. And I could do it here, but because my fan's already RGB, it kind of misses the point. Plus, there is a radiator behind this, so I cannot like create that space in between both fans to fit that that strip in there. So that is not a possibility for me, except if I would do it like on the front ones, but then I have RGB there, so it kind of misses the point for me. So what I did is the top and the right part, which looks very nice, I believe. It's special, it's something new for me. The only odd thing about those is the smell. Like, it has a extreme chemical smell to it. I don't know if it's the rubber or the RGB port or whatever, but it has a very, very nasty smell. Not enjoyable at all. Usually like electronics have like that electronic smell, and I don't know, maybe it's me, but I associate that with something very, very positive. However, here it's just chemical. It's nasty. I don't like it. But I guess after a few hours it will just, go away. For the rest, if you, don't have RGB or you wanted to do more RGB, I guess those Phanteks sets are worth what they are costing. Quality-wise, they are really okay. And compared to things I had before, they are also, I would say, in the upper range. And idea-wise, they are also in the upper range because you get all of those nice bands, which are very much not included in basically anything I had until now, so I really enjoy these. Another thing that wasn't like particularly enjoyable is the fact that these will never be like hard mounted to anything. They will always wiggle at least for the amount of the spacer. So you can move them. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe you could combine both ways, cause like the glue is like has like a cutout for the screw, so I believe you should or you could do both. However, if you do that, you have a limited amount of glue, so you will be done after the first or second build. For me, that means it's not an option. I will need to reuse them over and over again, so I won't do that. But that's an option. For the rest, I mean, if you're into RGB, they look nice. I can say that. And for this particular build, because it is already filled with RGB, it is a nice touch. So I'm happy with those. At this point, I guess thank you for watching. If you are interested in way more RGB than you're supposed to have in your life, I will leave the links down in the description below. I would also like to thank Phanteks for sending them over. It was a nice touch to try them out, and I would definitely use them in other builds moving on from now. We have RGB builds all the time. It's necessary. It's mandated by European law now. It's like the amount of band that a banana has. We also have like a amount of RGB your PC has to be able to be sold in Europe. It's by law here. Anyway, I would like to thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next one. See you.